Yo, this your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan channel. And yes, we're in for another podcast. Before we get started, man, please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation, and let's get it. Yo, I know what you're saying. Eric, the game is getting ready to start. Why are you bothering us right now? I totally understand that. So with that being said, I won't be before you long because I know the Mavs is getting ready to play the Timberwolves. And speaking about the Mavs and the Timberwolves game, y'all listen, Mavs can go ahead and lock this thing up tonight. I know you're saying Captain Obvious, Eric, duh. Y'all, please, Mavericks, and you Mavs fan, we got to get it done tonight. That way, we got a whole another week and a couple of days to rest, get everybody healthy, and get ready for the NBA Finals, which starts next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, June the 6th, against the Boston Celtics. And man, the Mavs look good. Oh man, so I can't wait, and I'm just so excited about what the Mavs got going on. Listen, this series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, I expected them to win, the Mavericks to win, but I expected them to win like this. It's been a couple of close games, but the last game obviously was a pretty good butt whipping the Mavericks put on them. But y'all, this guy, Karl Anthony Towns, y'all listen. He's been just the talk of the town, since his whole postseason started. Man, listen, yes, you see it. Is he a role player? I know Karl Anthony Towns is one of the premier big men, the stretch five, the guy who can shoot long range. And coming into this playoffs, he was supposed to be the best three-point percentage in the whole playoffs at one point in time. And y'all, he's been sucking pretty bad. And to answer that question, it was rhetorical for me, but a true question for y'all. I'm going to answer it. Yes, I'm going to say it. Karl Anthony Towns, in my opinion, has not lived up to my expectation of what a center is supposed to be. I know you can shoot, but you're not a post player. And the way you've been playing this postseason, you've been playing like a role player, bro. There is no franchise. There is no superstar status. You made a couple All-Stars. I get all that. But, bro, I think the totality of your career has been nothing but a role player. Hey, if you don't agree with me, you can jump in the comment section. We can go back and forth. But, y'all, this guy is not him. Karl Anthony Towns is not him. So there you have it, folks. We can agree to disagree. But moving on from that, man, listen, there's been talk about who is the best backcourt duo in NBA history. And people have thrown Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic into that conversation. And that's a conversation to be had. But let's take a look at some of the backcourt duos in league history that we've seen that some you may think may be some of the greatest. Listen, what about Chris Paul and James Harden at the time in Houston? I think that's a pretty good run for them. James Harden not necessarily known for defense. Chris Paul is obviously too small, but two guys who can get it done in that position. Then you go around, you're talking about this, the one that Shaquille O'Neal brought up, and I laughed at it at the time he said it, but then I kind of slightly agreed. Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher. That was a pretty good backcourt. Derek Fisher have won some game winner with threes. Derek Fisher was a pretty solid player. I like. So that I think right now I would say they would make my top five. Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher. All right, number 8, Michael Jordan and Ron Harper. No, Jordan obviously made this list because he's Jordan, but then you add on Ron Harper. I think when you look at some of the other players on this list, it's kind of hard to put him in a top 5 situation. But that's a good honorable mention, Ron Harper. No knock to Jordan, but some would say Jordan anybody could be a best backcourt duo. I agree to disagree. As much as I like Jordan, as much as see that I am a Jordan fan, I don't like the backcourt duo to be in the elite, to be in the top 5, Michael Jordan and Ron Harper. Next on the list, you have Walt Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe. Obviously, they're going to make my top 5. So right now, I got Kobe, Derek Fisher, and I got Walt Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe in that top 5 situation. As far as the best backcourt duos, let's moving on over to Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. This one is hard because Manu was a bench player. He came off the bench, and there were a couple of times he started. I'm gonna have to wait and see. I like it, but Manu, both of them Hall of Famers. You got to give him that much. I'm gonna pause on that one. But I like that one. Maybe in top five. Magic Johnson, and Byron Scott. It's kind of like the whole Jordan and Ron Harper situation. I don't know. I don't know. I like Byron Scott's game. Obviously, I like Magic Johnson, but I just think them paired with some of the other big names out there, I actually would put Chris Paul and James Harden above Magic and Byron and Jordan and Ron Harper. But that's just my opinion. We can argue. But this one I do like. Bob Cousy and Sam Jones, two Hall of Famers. I like it. So I think they make my top five for the Celtics. Bob Cousy and Sam Jones, they make my top five. So I'll get who my top five is. Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. As much as I'm gonna just say they make the number fifth spot. So right now I got Jerry West and Gail Goodrich at 5. I got Bob Cousy and Sam Jones at number 4 in my top 5. Isaiah and Joe Dumars. Right now, I would probably put them. It's kind of hard. I'll put them in number 2. I'll put them in number 2 because I like those two guys. And then you got number 1, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson's. Right now, they're number 1, so I'll keep them in number 1 for right now for the sake of argument. So I got the 1, I got the 2. We're still looking for 3. Before I go any further, Kyrie and Luka, in my opinion, does not make this list as far as best backcourt duo in history. In the league right now, obviously they make this list because they're the two best backcourt in the league right now. Stephen and Klay just haven't done anything this season. So this year has been the best talented backcourt duo, obviously, is Klay and Stephen Curry. You got to give credit where credit is due. Kudos to those guys. But the best backcourt duo in today's game is Kyrie and Luka. You got to give it to the credit where credit is due because them guys have been playing out lights out, especially in the postseason. So you know what you're going to get from those guys. But listen, they don't make my list in top 5 in history. That's what I was trying to say. They don't make my top 5. So if I had to put a number 3, because we got Stephen and Klay at number 1, we got Isaiah and Joe Dumars at number 2. I got Jerry West and Gail Goodrich at number 4, and I got Bob Cousy and Sam Jones at number 5. So that's where I'm going to put Kobe and Derek Fisher at number 3. So there you have it. Right now, as far as best backcourt duos in league history, I got Stephen and Klay at number 1. I got Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars at number 2. I got Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher, number 3. I got, I got Jerry West and Gail Goodrich at number 4, and I got Bob Cousy and Sam Jones at number 5. No, I got those flipped. Bob Cousy, Sam Jones at number 4, and Jerry West and Gail Goodrich at number 5. That is my best backcourt duo in league history. If the Mavericks win the series, the finals, then I will take the number 5 spot, which is Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, off the list and put Luke and Kyrie on there. But you got to win one first, and the jury's still out on guys where they can be consistent or not. Listen, no team has come back from a 3-0 deficit to win a series. No team, not one team in history, and this shouldn't be any different for the Mavericks. So I believe the Mavericks should go ahead and win the series. Hopefully, they can get it done tonight and get this thing over with, and go ahead and get some rest for next week. But can they go on and win the finals? We already know Boston has punched their ticket in there, so they're there. Can the Mavericks win the finals? Listen, the way Boston played against Indiana, it was sweet. It was a sweep. They finally swept the series. They should have swept the whole Eastern Conference, but they didn't. But kudos to Boston. They only lost 2 games so far in the whole Eastern Conference. So they're making it to the finals. Only lost 2 games. They did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do with that week Eastern Conference Finals, and I say that because no disrespect to the players out there. Great job, guys, for making it to the playoffs. But still, I don't think they've seen I don't think they've seen the talent that the West has. So with that being said, yes, there's always a chance. I think the Mavericks can win this series. I think they match up well against Boston, and I think defensively they can get it done. If Boston Celtics come out and continue to play the way they played against the Indiana Pacers, being down a couple of times, I mean, game one, the Pacers gave it over. With the last couple of seconds, saying, making a bonehead mistake. The same way it was with game number three. Just kind of just made some bonehead mistakes in the final seconds of the game. Even yesterday, they was winning at one point in the fourth quarter, and they turned around and they just gave up the lead. Mavericks not gonna make those mistakes. So I'm just saying. I'm the Mavericks, and as a fan here in the Metroplex, I want the Mavericks to win. Obviously, with that, ain't no sense of me going any further with that. The Boston Celtics, y'all. The Boston Celtics. Is this a busted season for the Celtics? They made it to the finals, but they've been here before. Ain't like they ain't been here before. But if they lose the finals once again this year, is it a busted season? And I think you all watching this right now would agree that yes, it is a busted season for the Celtics if they lose, because this team is exhausting. This team is hard to watch. This team should have been a dynasty within the last 6 to 7 years. They got some of the best talented players in the Eastern Conference, but they can't seem to get it done. People have been talking about Jason Tatum, where he's been at this past series with Indiana. We don't know. Kudos to Jaylen Brown for stepping up. But yeah, it's a busted season. They got to win. The pressure is on them to win. The Mavericks are going to come out and play the Mavericks. The Mavericks going to lose. They'll just recalibrate and try again next year. But the Celtics, this win a bust. It's win a bust. Now, the opposite end of that question is the Boston Celtics win the finals this year, win the NBA Finals. Does this finally solidify them as being one of the best assembled teams in NBA history? I'm listening to you guys answer the question. But I'll answer for you. No, this does not solidify them being the best assembled team. No, you got to win one. And this team has been trying. They're still relatively young players. So if they win, I think this puts their name in the hat to be one of the best teams of this era. But you got to keep going. You got to run the table. If they don't run the table, then it's like, we're back to the drawing board with the Boston Celtics, how they get us there and then they lose. But this is a series. This is a year they should win. This is a win. But the Mavericks is a tough team. The Mavericks is a very tough team. So there you have it, folks. Y'all, I know we're getting ready to jump into this game forward, the Mavs and Timberwolves, man. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'm not going to be here before you long. Hey, once again, stay tuned for next week. And here in the Metroplex, y'all, we've been having a series of storms and stuff like that. So to all my FairWeather fans out there in the Metroplex, man, stay safe. To my boys, Professor and Coach Martez Turner, Lewis Medford and Coach Martez Turner, man. I know Lewis said they've been having power outages, so we didn't get a chance to jump on Faith Sports Talk Radio today. So join us next week on that. Also join me next week as well. And y'all, I'm going to throw something else out there. Y'all, I have another podcast. It's not a sports podcast. I'm really, really, really want you guys to go out and support it. So if you guys who may be watching this now or watching this in replay, listen, go over to Spotify and type in IVYP or I Value Your Perspective podcast with your boy Eric Curtis. Man, this is a Christian-based podcast where we have just great conversations. I got a lot of people that's listed to come on and talk. But man, it's just some topics that I think we need to address. And we're just going to offer grace to conversations that some of you may want to have. Some of the trendy topics on social media from a Christian standpoint. That's where we're going with this thing. So listen, man, join the I Value Your Perspective podcast over on Spotify. It is an audible podcast, so there's no visuals, not a video podcast. That way you can listen anywhere. You can listen on your car. You can listen to whatever you're doing. You can just listen to it. It's on Spotify. I'm getting ready to put it on Apple Music and all other podcast platforms. But please join that conversation. It's a Christian-based podcast. I cannot express that much. It's Christian conversations, man. Please join us, support us over there at I Value Your Perspective podcast over on Spotify. And we'll see you guys next week. And like I said, keep watching because there will be a FairWeather Fan cash giveaway. This your boy EC22, man. Thank you for joining the FairWeather Fan Podcast. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation, and we are out.